biggest announcement coming to you from Keeping Up with the Nerds is finally here, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to be talking about the Book of Boba Fett. Isn't that right, Adam?
Yes, sir.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and start this show.
Coming to you from 12920 Philadelphia Street, Whittier, California, in the heart of Uptown Whittier. Keeping Up with the Nerds presents issue 83. My name is Adam.
This is Brian.
Renee.
And Nick.
And welcome to the show.
Hey! Woo! Yeah, I totally got on the first shot.
No one needed to know.
You didn't bring the same energy level, Nick. So, you know.
My energy level
serious?
is as high as it's going to get.
We're going to have to start over. Run it from the top, guys.
It's 10:30 at night. You can kiss my booty.
Look, we got a lot of stuff to talk about, so we're just going to kick this thing going. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I am running on like 5 hours of sleep. I haven't eaten in the last 10 hours, and I got boosted. So, that's exactly it. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have a big announcement for you guys today. You may be wondering, why is Adam here? Why? And
Why did Adam open?
Yeah, why did he open?
Wait, Adam's here?
Why?
What?
Why?
Why is he here?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Get him out of here!
Ladies and gentlemen, Keeping Up with the Nerds is finally expanding, and we're partnering up with Our Real Addiction! Woo! Both Adam and Miguel are going to be joining us from here on out.
Sorry,
okay, relax.
the energy
relax.
just hit
I know.
me.
Did you the C4 that you have right now?
C4! Unofficial sponsor of Keep It Up with the Nerds.
Listen, I know it was a hostile takeover, but you don't have to be that excited about it, all right?
Hey. Don't downplay his excitement now.
So Adam and Miguel are going to be officially joining the Keeping Up with the Nerds family under the Nerds Network. Thanks to Nick for that, because that was a brilliant name for pretty much what we're going to be doing here on out. But yeah, they are joining us as content creators, as well as hopefully you'll be helping us out with some editing and some other stuff as well. Hopefully, yeah. Fun. So that way it'll take some stuff off my plate. Unfortunately, Miguel was not able to make it here, nor was he able to join us over the phone due to some personal matters. But it's okay, because I will be inserting a tiny little interview with Miguel talking about Our Real Edition from his perspective right now. Miguel, welcome to Keeping Up with the Nerds podcast, issue number 83. I know that unfortunately you couldn't make it to this to us in person or in call, but I'm glad because we get to interview you one-on-one now about what's going on. And how have you been, man?
I've been great. Thank you so much for having me on, man. Really appreciate that.
No, thank you. Thank you for taking your time and, coming on and, talking with me. Unfortunately, everyone else couldn't make it. But yeah, just on a one-on-one. It's going to be a sentimental kind of thing, sentimental interview.
Oh, I love it.
There you go.
It's my favorite thing to do. So
a one-on-one, man.
Let's go.
So,
I really appreciate it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, no worries, man. Thank you for joining. So just kind of like a quick little overview. I know that we mentioned it at the beginning of the podcast, but yeah, Our Real Addiction is partnering up with Keeping Up with the Nerds, and we're all branding under the Nerds Network now. So it's going to be a partnership, kind of like a test run for 6 months, and we're going to be, working alongside each other. Our Real Addiction is going to be content creating, and hopefully you guys would want to do some other stuff as well, and I can teach you guys the ropes of editing and kind of other things as well, because you guys are also going to be co-managing the Nerdy Planet news page.
Yeah, so a lot of responsibility, definitely definitely not, don't feel like a lot of pressure, but I feel excited, honestly, to just start getting myself more involved with this. Adam and I have done great so far together, and I feel like if we have mentorship by you guys been doing this for a while. I love your website. I love your podcast. And the fact that you guys are willing to bring us in is really great, because you guys see a potential within us that we know that we see within ourselves too. And I mean, you guys are partnering up with us as well. So it's like, it's a really give and take. And I think we're going to do a great job together.
Yeah. And that's what I was telling Adam earlier, was that, there wasn't that much hesitation when we mentioned you guys as like, partnering up. for partnering up essentially, mainly because you guys have been doing this for quite a while already. You guys have been consistent and you guys have a vision. And for us, here at Keeping Up with the Nerds, we've been wanting to be consistent. We want to strive to expand. We want to strive to do better content, at some point, develop merch and stuff. And we've been wanting to grow because we're about to hit year 2 within the next couple of months. So when I brought you guys up to both Nick and Renee, and I said, Miguel and Adam have our real addiction. We had them on when Nick was on vacation. You guys do a great job, and you guys are covering stuff that we really can't cover because we'll talk about movies, but in the terms of like how you guys talk about them, I love that aspect of production and the finer details when it comes to the development of the movies. But there's just no time, not within like an hour and a half long podcast. It just doesn't work that way, So
go ahead. Sorry.
No, sorry. Go for it. You're the guest. Come on. You got to.
No, thank you. No, it's just there's been several instances where we're recording and like we just get so lost. And it was funny. I remember recording the first episode. We were at Adam's house and we were in his living room and we had everything set up. I had my camera ready, recording because we were going to do like videos as well besides the audio. And it was so funny because him and I just vomit information about we just dissect movies all the time. But when we were recording that first episode, we were so nervous, and I think we did 2 takes because the first one was just it just felt like there was we were lights, camera, action, and we just froze. We needed lines fed to us or something like that. But we've been doing this for a while now, just talking about movies, appreciating movies. Adam is a great eye and attention span to budgeting in films and what that comes to the box office, but it also has a really good eye for cinematography and story, and I feed off that. So whenever we do record, it's just bouncing back the ball, and it just feels great with him.
You guys have that chemistry, definitely. And it's something that's very important when it comes to content creation, because if it's 2 people or even 3 people that don't mesh, how are you guys supposed to bounce off each other? You guys are doing an hour-long podcast, and I don't know if you guys do any cuts or, scrap out some things from the podcast as well that you guys do, but you guys want to have a clean, fluid, vibe the entire way through. And I've noticed that with the episodes that I've listened to as well. And the 2 times that I've been on a guest on your guys' show, you guys do an awesome job. So,
that was so much fun. I've actually had a couple friends of mine, listen to that episode specifically, and they loved what you said. Actually,
was it the Spider-Man one?
Yeah.
So I'm getting double reaction on that one, a little tangent, but yeah, because I'll have people tell me, they're like, dude, you need to shut up about the whole Spider-Man thing, man. You obsess way too much out of that. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. And then I get some people like, dude, you know a lot, man. You're super passionate. I appreciate that. I'm like, well, yeah. I don't know what to believe anymore,
Yeah, you gotta believe in Spider-Man.
So I'm gonna go ahead and ask you, the same questions that I asked Adam the podcast earlier, or because this is gonna go before his segment, I'll ask you the questions first. How did Our Real Addiction get started?
Honestly, I'm curious to hear what Adam's gonna say about this, but I feel like it all started when him and I went to go see Transformers in Whittier Village Cinemas back in junior year of high school. We took the bus up there. I think we walked, but it just became a natural thing. We would go every Tuesdays and Thursdays, just go up there, see movies for $5, newly released movies for $5 or $10, and it was the best thing ever. And just walk home and dissect what we saw, and then replay it. And when it finally came to fruition, this was years after, it was during COVID, and I had just moved down to San Diego, and The Mandalorian came out, season 2, I believe, and we were just talking and talking and talking and trying to create this universe within ourselves and try to see where the story was going to go. And then at some point we were just we joked about it, or I think one of us made the joke where I was like, we should just record ourselves talking a podcast and then just see where that goes. And yeah, sure enough, Adam picked up immediately what to do. He hit up a couple people that were already doing podcasts. I researched some things on YouTube and on how to do one, and then also just what programs and whatever. But just mostly what came down to it was the idea, because there's many podcasts out there. There's so many for so many different types of genres and stuff like that. But like not like what we have, which we knew off the bat was going to be good, and yeah, it just started off, and that became that, and we we had such a hard time coming up with the name. Like we didn't really know what we were going for until it just kind of like came off as a pun, and then our real addiction was born.
Not spoiling anything, but I think you'll be pretty happy with how Adam tells his story. If you're interested, yeah. Let me guess,
Okay.
was the Transformers movie Age of Extinction?
Yes, it
Yes.
was. It was. Because we both we it's so funny. Him and I met junior year in math class.
Uh-huh.
I think we had math. I think at the sixth or fifth period. But I had literally sat behind him in English class, like a class prior, and I was like, "Yo, like I sit behind you." Like trying to introduce himself to me again. I'm just like, "Yeah, I know who you are." Like,
He
you sit
didn't
in front
know.
of me.
He didn't know who you were, even though you knew who he was. Kind of
Yeah, I
mentality,
was
right?
just
Yeah.
like, yeah, because Adam in high school was like a very talkative and approachable person, but he was also very shy too. So he was kind of like a little oxymoron of there. But it's he was he was actually we just started talking in sixth period about movies, and then I had told him that I had seen um Rise the third Transformers movie like 4 times, and he's like, "Dude, me too." And then we just started like talking about it, and then after that's when we started watching movies in Whittier.
There is always one aspect that like helps develop friendships. Like for me, one of my bestest friends, we bonded over like Mass Effect, and we didn't even know. This is one of my old middle school best friends. Started dating this guy, and the way we met was through Mass Effect, because he was like super antisocial and stuff like that. And then out of nowhere, we get introduced because she brings him over, and he's like, "Yeah, this is like at a Christmas party that she threw." And she's like, "Yeah, this is John. Guys talk." And he noticed that I was wearing Mass Effect stuff, and that's how we
Yeah.
basically like bonded. So I completely understand when it's like small details like that are out of nowhere, like for you guys movies, how you guys bond over something like that. Even if it's weird to some people, it isn't, like, not for us, at least,
And like what fortified the friendship even more was we had a friend, his name is Fabio. It's funny we don't talk about Fabio, but we do talk about him. Because he was kind of collectively part of like real addiction actually like beginning, because the three of us would just sit down and talk. He actually worked at a video store,
Okay.
and we would go, literally him and I would go over, and he also went to Pioneer. I think he was probably in your graduating class. No,
I graduated in
No,
2011.
never mind.
Yeah.
It was 2014. So he was like, you were a senior, he was a freshman probably.
Probably,
But
yeah.
he was and so he graduated, started working there, and like he knew Fabio, because I believe like they all went to the same church too.
Mhm.
So then and because of school, and so we would like just talk, and then the MCU came, the love for the MCU, because my love for the MCU started after I watched Captain America: The Winter Soldier. Like that was the one that sold it for me.
The
That
best
was like,
MCU movie of all time.
yeah, it was from beginning to end. I was like, oh my God, and it's so funny because I had seen the first Avenger back in 2011
Mhm.
here in San Diego, and I saw it in 3D. I remember they gave us like the red 3D glasses.
The red and blue ones, or was it just solid
the red and blue ones?
Yeah.
Just the red and blue ones. And I remember seeing it, and I was so bored.
The first
And
one,
I
the
was
first
like,
Avengers.
yeah, no, not the first Avengers, like Captain America: The First Avenger, the first
Oh,
one.
the first one. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't like this. Like, this is boring. Like, why am I here? And then I saw it again after seeing The Winter Soldier, and my mind just like was completely different on it. Like, I liked it even more, if anything. And it gave more reason to why Bucky's one of my favorite characters in there too. For the
There you go.
MCU.
There you
Yeah,
go.
and then the MCU is also just what started it. Like pretty much Transformers in the MCU. That's what got our Real Addiction funded.
That's what kickstarted. That was a spark for this
Yeah,
whole thing.
that was it.
The all spark. So so I guess the next question I want to ask you guys is, what is our Real Addictions? For the listeners that don't know, if you had to give like a quick 1 to 2 minute summary of our Real Addictions, what is it?
Two cinema bros talking about movies, talking about characters, talking about stories, talking about box office, and just having a good time. That's pretty much what it is.
You guys talk more
It's our
about
Real Addiction.
you guys talk more about the production aspects of movies, correct?
Yeah, we like to, because we both, I feel like, internally want to be filmmakers in the future. We look so much like we obsess a little bit more on the actor's point of view, but we also really love like all the behind the scenes stuff, because we we just collectively like that, like anything that comes off with like photography or just like how scenes are edited together, and even movie scores too. Adam and I have bonded over movie scores completely. Like we set each other scores all the time. We're like, listen to this, like, and just picture it, and it just it's so like it's such an element to put together.
Mhm.
And we just that we love movies in general, not just because it's like MCU or anything like that, but just because of how they make us feel.
Mhm.
Because I think we both had like we were raised with the movies, and we were taken as kids to the movies, especially in movies. I know he saw Spider-Man with his dad, and like we were only like what, 4 maybe, like 5 or around that age when Spider-Man came out. So I mean, it's just they just hold a place in my heart,
Of
and I
course.
feel like
And
that's like
that's the beauty of living like in this day and age, because remember way back when like how the first couple of movies that we saw as kids, the internet wasn't as big as it is now, and in order for us to learn the production aspects or the actors' perspectives or the director's perspectives with the movie's development, like you had to go through special features, and you had to read it in
yeah,
some sort of interviews. But now, like, the internet gives us so much information. It's amazing to see and learn every aspect of filmmaking, from like production, set design, the thought process, the writing, the storyboard, the score development, all these different things, and you get to fall in love with it so much more. I
yeah.
completely
There's
understand. Yeah. And that's the beauty of it. I mean, you said it perfectly yourself, when we were talking about our Real Addiction is development, is there's so many different podcasts out there. What makes you guys different? Well, it's two people essentially talking about the love of the production and the love of the detail of filmmaking. And you guys are basically analyzing it rather than reviewing it. So yeah, of
yeah,
course, my
yeah.
belief in
Because
terms of content creation is what sells are the people. If it's not the content, the people should sell the material.
definitely.
Yeah. What were you going to say?
No, thank you for even bringing that up. You make a very good point, because I been watching this guy who does movie reviews all the time, and he actually just started filmmaking himself.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also like he's done several instances where he like informs like his viewers on like his life, his personal life, aside from what he does. His name is Chris Stuckman. I always reference this guy because I always liked his opinions. They're very valid. He's always straightforward, but he also like appreciated the things that I looked into when it came to a movie. And he just started filmmaking, and he updated it on his life about stop like he wants to stop reviewing movies and more analyzing them, even though he has. But it's just because now as a filmmaker, he wants to be able to produce without having that in mind of like wanting to please everything from a critic's point of view.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't want to be a critic anymore. He wants to just be a director, and he feels like he owes it to himself to clarify that to his viewers. And I appreciate that, because like that's how we see movies too. Like sometimes we can talk about it and we like destroy a story and be like, maybe the story was super bad, but it was an entertaining film. Or, like, or this scene was beautiful, and had this been like added or something like that, it would have made the story better. And so we just try to focus on the entire element of the movie, as opposed to just, I guess, criticizing it.
No, and that
Again.
100% makes sense. I just had a conversation last night with a couple friends about James Gunn, because that's the thing, is that everyone has like their favorite directors, their favorite movies, favorite actors, and everything. And we're talking about James Gunn. I don't know if you've seen the show Peacemaker.
Loving it.
Okay, great.
I'm caught up.
So
We can talk about it. So fun.
before I get to the last question, I'll mention this. So one of my buddies does not like the conversations that happen that kind of tangent away from the main point. So in Peacemaker, spoiler for those that haven't seen any of the episodes yet, there's a conversation between Vigilante and John Cena's Peacemaker, where he's kind of having a mental breakdown, and then Vigilante pops out through the window and says, "Are you crying?" He's like, "Oh, what are you doing? You think you're going to catch me jerking off or something like that?" And there's this back and forth that lasts like 5 minutes. And his thing was, why is James Gunn spending so much time, emphasizing this useless conversation? He was using the other one, but that's like kind of an example. He was using another one.
Yeah.
But he's like, why is he using so much time to emphasize this useless conversation when he could be pushing the point forward? But my argument is, if you enjoy that conversation, that is what James Gunn wants to do. I don't think he cared so much about, telling the story, because he'll get to it eventually in an hour-long episode. It's more along the lines of like developing these characters and having fun with the personalities. So completely understand. You can criticize it and destroy a movie and say, well, it could have gone this direction, but that's your view. And obviously there's going to be mistakes and better methods of filmmaking and better things that you wish you could have seen in terms of a storytelling perspective. But if the director's vision is the one he wants to show and they're happy with it, then that's all that matters. AKA Kevin Smith was his movies as well. And I forget his name because it's super obscure. The director of Dune and Arrival. You know who I'm talking about?
Oh, yes. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Dennis something. I am blanking out on his name.
I know. I kind of want to look it up now.
Hang on. I got a computer right in front of me. Dune.
Yeah. Use your resources.
Use the tools in front of me.
It's actually when you mention that,
Dennis
I get
Villeneuve.
your friend's perspective of why he would think that, but you said it perfectly, because he's definitely character building. He's showing, like, it's funny to get ahead sometimes with shows, especially when they're weekly released, because when the whole show's out and then you get to the ending, you finish it, and the season finale is over, and then you get to rewatch it. And then everything starts connecting, and then everything gives reason. And James Gunn's one of those people that actually takes time to like break down characters like that, and also like it's his attention to detail that pays off in the end, and that's really cool, because that's his character building, and that's why it works. Sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't, because there's some conversations that are pointless, or there's some scenes that are pointless too, and then you see it again and it just makes sense, and it gives reason as to why that character did that by the end of it. And I feel like that's definitely how you build a story.
Yeah,
because it's for your characters. It's not to what's going on. It's not the destination. Like, these characters are going that direction anyway. It's how they get there.
Yeah,
that matters.
You get to kind of pick and choose your favorite characters at this point, and there's actual reasons as to why, rather than you kind of having to dig and search through decision makings of the character. It's kind of told in the dialogue. 100% agree. We are running out of time for this little segment here. But I do want no, you're good. This is honestly, this is the kind of content our listeners are going to be expecting from you guys. And it's great because it's giving them a short little preview for anyone new to you guys, your guys' content and stuff. This is exactly what's going to happen. It's more analysis of shows and movies, of things that you guys watch and like, and that's what's expected from our Real Addiction. So if they like Keeping Up with the Nerds content, then they will more than likely 100% like our Real Addiction as well, because you guys have a lot of plans moving forward. And with those plans, the last question I want to ask you guys is, or ask you, Miguel, because I already asked Adam, what do you guys expect to see within the coming months to year from our Real Addiction now that we are partnering up here?
Growth for the most part, and just a wider social media approach or reach, just getting content out there, maybe even getting recognized, just like being heard of or referenced to. because like definitely want to be up there with the big boys, but it's gonna take time.
Mhm.
But I'm here for it, and time is all I got right now,
Good.
and I'm willing to just input myself in this because it is a lot of fun. It's so much fun every time. Like yeah, life gets in the way sometimes, and I can't make recordings and stuff like that. But like when we do, man, it's just like magic. Like off the bat when we start, it's just, and we usually do notes and stuff like that, and we try to like stay in order. Um, but then what we love about ourselves is that sounds very narcissistic. But what we love about the podcast is that it just allows us to be us for an hour, and it's great. But
That's yeah.
I'm super excited to learn from you, honestly, and to see exactly where we get you guys to. It's gonna be fun.
That's all that matters, honestly. My philosophy is if you guys enjoy the content you guys are making, then it's good content. And, you know, I mentioned this to Adam, and I mentioned it earlier or later on in this podcast. We give up Friday nights to go record, but those Friday nights that we give up are one of the best nights, basically, for me at least, throughout that whole week, because I'm doing something that I like. And granted, sometimes it's like hours and hours and hours upon unpaid work to do what we're doing here. And I wouldn't, you know, I wish I could get paid for it. I hope that one day I do, but it's something that I really, really enjoy doing. And at the end of the day, when I'm going to go to sleep and I see the work that, you know, all of us have done, I'm proud of it. So I want you guys to feel the same way. And I hope that Keeping Up with the Nerds does help you guys get to that level as well. And that this partnership is nothing but, you know, good news and good momentum moving forward. So, Miguel, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
From all of us at Keeping Up with the Nerds, we're super excited. I believe I mentioned this earlier, but you guys are going to be having an announcement video that you, even though you were not physically there, we put you in there. So it was already released on Monday. That. Yeah, no. It was fun. It was a fun little skit. I will show you the end result of it. But yeah, so that announcement video for listeners that have not, you know, known, because you guys only listen to us on our audio platforms, head on over to our YouTube channel, Keeping Up with the Nerds. There you'll see the Our Real Addiction partnership announcement video, short little skit featuring Adam and Miguel in there. You guys go enjoy it, go like it, and show them some love. All the descriptions on where you can find Our Real Addiction from their Instagrams, Twitter, TikToks, and audio platforms are all going to be down here in the description below if you are listening or watching this on YouTube. And if on any other platform, they're in the description. But keep an eye out for Our Real Addiction. All the movie stuff that you guys want to know, they are going to be movie-centric. So head on over, show them love and show them support. Other than that, Miguel, is there anything else you want to say before we close out this interview?
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And it was a lot of fun. And let's make some content, man.
Yes. And, that's the other thing I forgot. Thursdays at 11 a.m. if Adam hasn't mentioned it yet. But yes, Thursdays at 11 a.m. So that means that when this episode releases, the next day, Our Real Addiction releases a new episode on Spotify. What is it? Anchor or whatever that you guys use?
Buzzsprout, but we're also on Apple Podcasts as well.
Yes.
And you can catch us with that.
Perfect. All right. And now back to present day me on issue 83.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen. There you go. So that was
the power of editing that you'll never know.
all done by me.
Dun, dun, dun. Amazing.
So that was Miguel's little interview with me, pretty much talking about, you know, his perspective on Our Real Addiction and what he thinks about, you know, joining us and helping us out with content. And it's everything on his side. But Adam, thank you for being here in person with us.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it, guys.
No, it's a pleasure. We loved having you the last time. You had such great energy when you came in.
I was not here.
That's right. He was absent.
Yeah, you weren't.
Yes.
Yeah. So Renee and I can vouch for
I was on vacation.
Well,
one of your many vacations.
Hey, I like to party.
Wow, he burps.
Oh yeah. Also, Mandy's here. If you can see her on our cameras as well. So yeah, she came down to visit. She's helping us with a couple things, and actually, yeah, you are going to be helping us with our TikToks as well. Mm-hmm. So she's actually going to be managing. I forgot the camera's over here for me. She's actually going to be managing our TikTok and kind of helping us with content in terms of that, because I can only do so much, guys. Okay, it's a lot. And Renee and Nick also have jobs, and Adam's learning the ropes as well. So it's great to have more help as well, especially with everything that we have planned.
We eventually
within
have
the
to have
coming years.
Brian sleep. I mean, it's eventual.
Dude, I'm heating up. I told you, right? I told you, I'm
that
heating
you
up.
overheated like a CPU.
Yeah, basically, I needed. Steven is right.
How many weeks without
Steven,
sleep now?
yeah.
Actually, you know what? One of the great things about this, because my fiance gifted me this watch, and it measures my sleep. So actually, I lied. Well, did I? Well, 5 hours, and then I was in and out of sleep for 6 hours, almost 7. So it measures like your time of how much you sleep.
So you sleep with that on?
Yeah.
Did she connect?
When do you
that
charge
watch?
it?
Wait, what?
When do you charge it?
Yeah, like
When I'm not using it.
when are you not using it? If
Exactly.
you're sleeping
In the
with it,
Yeah, exactly.
it doesn't charge that
yeah.
fast.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I charge it when it's like, right now it's at 23%.
Yeah.
Should probably charge
I
it.
should probably charge it. Yeah, soon. But yeah, so I'm monitoring my sleep. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry about me. It's okay.
So, quick question: did
Yeah.
your fiance give you the watch so that way she can help you, or she give you the watch and connect it to her phone so she always knows where you are?
Hopefully not the second one. She knows I'm a big tech guy, so she was just like, yeah, why not
Yeah, I
integrate
could
him?
literally LoJack him, and
Yeah,
you wouldn't even know.
But listen, I told her already
And you
that
would
my
welcome it.
dream is to become a cyborg. Okay, if I can integrate technology into me and reach final evolution, all
Calm
right.
down, Cyberpunk. Okay.
Literally, that's what I want, dude. It's so great. Come on.
You want the Overlord program for Mass Effect 2?
Yeah.
Okay, not that far.
That's
Not
gonna
that
be you.
far.
That's gonna be you.
Not that far.
Tubes in the mouth, all this.
That's gross. No, I'm good. Listen, if I can get praying mantis arms, that's fine with me.
Yes.
Yeah, thank
That'd
you for
be
taking that
pretty
toy away.
sick.
Right?
I
be
just.
pretty
I
nice.
Can
know
we
it's
get
what
back
I
to
watch.
the whole our
Book
real
of Boba
addiction thing?
Fett,
No, we're
you
not talking. We got to interview Adam first and everything. So, just to give you guys a quick rundown of exactly what is going to be going on with Keeping Up with the Nerds and Our Real Addiction. So, we're actually partnering up, and we're going to be working together for the next 6 months into year 2. Now, the eventual plan is that everything is going to be going under the Nerds Network. We're going to be providing content for all you guys. Keeping Up with the Nerds is now going to be offloading, movie stuff, the articles and the reviews and everything, and that's going to be going to Adam and Miguel because they have a podcast called Our Real Addiction. Now, by joining us, basically they're going to be using a lot of our assets as well in terms of like the websites. I'm going to be helping them with editing, some production stuff as well, and helping you guys out with some content. Yeah. So
Appreciate it.
Yeah. No, it's great. I love it. Come on, this is this is like the perfect Friday night for me, honestly. Just hanging out with friends and making content. It's great.
Well, because I know you guys are going to be watching Moonfall and talking about it on your guys' podcast soon, right?
We were gonna do Jackass because it sounded like you guys were gonna do Moonfall, right?
Are we doing Moonfall?
I think we are.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, when
So
you
we-
guys eventually see Moonfall, you guys can come talk to me.
Exactly. It would be one of the things. So, Our Real Addiction is going to handle all the movie stuff. They're going to go more in depth in terms of production, movie news. I'll let Adam discuss that when we get to that interview portion of it. But basically, the layout is going to go like this: Keeping Up with the Nerds podcast is still releasing every Wednesday at 11:30, and Our Real Addiction will be releasing their podcast on Thursdays
at 11 a.m.
11 a.m. on
Thursdays.
YouTube.
Audio
sorry.
platforms.
Yeah.
Audio platforms.
Thursday. Apple Podcasts, Spotify. I think we're on Google Podcasts, and we're on a couple others.
You
Smaller-
need to know what
smaller-
audio platforms.
Yeah. We're on a couple
right.
smaller ones that you definitely don't use.
We'll list everything in the
Yeah.
description
Yeah.
below.
They'll
But
be on.
We really got to
Down
make you
below.
a link tree.
Yeah.
Just
We
say,
gotta-
look at the link tree. I don't know why every time we end the podcast, you always say our platforms. Just say the link tree.
because it's
Follow the
on
link tree ahead.
Instagram and on Twitter as well, which we've been using a lot
That's
too.
true,
Yeah,
yeah.
so it's great. But yeah, so they're going to be handling all the movie stuff and releasing their podcast on Thursdays at 11. We're going to try to work something on YouTube as well so you guys can see the visual perspective of everything, but that's going to be a work in progress. Again, this is more of like a build up to year 2. So there's still a lot of work to do, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be great. Adam and Miguel are also going to be joining us with a couple skits as well. So if you guys have not seen it yet, on our YouTube channel, if you guys are listening to this on audio platforms, there is an announcement video that is going to be pretty much just kind of like announcing that Our Real Addictions is joining the Nerds Network. So they're going to be, with us through skits. They're going to help us with writing. They're going to be helping us with a lot of different things. More than anything, we're just excited. We're happy that you guys are joining us. You guys want to share what Our Real Addiction is the journey you guys went through and everything?
Yeah, so it starts with the season 2 trailer of The Mandalorian. So the trailer dropped, and Miguel and I pretty much had a day-long conversation, and it got to the point where we could not type it, and we had to start sending voice messages. And so it got to about like 7 p.m., and I was like, hey, I was just like, I don't know about you. I was just like, but I think we should start a podcast. And I had thrown out the idea to him a couple times, but nothing ever... stuck until it was this time, and we eventually started in October of 2020, and we've been doing it since. So it's been fun. We're currently at like 1,300 downloads. So
yeah,
so
not bad.
That's really good.
So they started after us,
Yeah,
but
like
in the
right
same
after.
format.
Yeah. That's
Like,
pretty cool.
Yeah, because Renee and I, we always have the story where I would come into the store, we'd just talk about comics,
Yeah.
and then we were like, why don't we just start a podcast?
Let's do a podcast.
Yeah.
And that's how it started. It was great that you guys had like that kind of beginning as well. It goes to show that like, because that's the thing is I feel like a lot of people start up podcasts and it's like, it's just because we have a conversation. But it's more than that. You can have fun with it. You can, integrate new things and stuff. So it's great. And you guys have actually shown interest. And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to join up with you guys as well. You guys just like were so hard pressed on just continuing this. And, you guys even did like a season 2 launch or something like that.
Yeah. So we were kind of, I don't want to say burnt out, but we were kind of just juggling school and work at the time. And so, I was just like, hey, let's take a couple weeks off, and then we'll come back when No Way Home comes out. And then sure enough, and since then we've been doing pretty steadily. So yeah, we ended up launching a season 2. Season 2 was never originally planned. We were just going to continue like on, and it was
like a restart, essentially.
Yeah, really, that's really what it was. But a little more backstory, like me and Miguel, we've been friends since junior year. He actually sat behind me in my English class, and I had no idea. And then I realized he was in my math class, and then I was like, hey, I was just like,
no, it's funny because like you never know who is going to be your friend.
Yeah,
that's true.
Like you never know who like you didn't hang out with, or people that you like were in the vicinity.
Yeah,
but was like, oh yeah, I never really talked to that guy, and then like.
So he transferred to my high school, I think my junior year as well.
Yeah.
And I'd asked him, I was just like, do we have any other classes together? And he's like, yeah, I sit right behind you in English. I was just like, all right, nice, because we had math and English together for our junior year. And then it was in the summer, the first movie we saw together, which feels like the start of like, the journey to our real addiction, but we saw Transformers: Age of Extinction together, and then since then.
Wait, did you go opening night to the Village?
No. This was in summer because we went to go see it.
Age of Extinction is the one with the T-Rex, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah, my fiance fell asleep to that one.
Yeah.
I think I fell asleep to that one too.
That's my favorite one.
Yeah.
Really?
Did you just say that's your favorite?
Yeah.
one?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. It was just I enjoyed it.
I might have to rethink this whole.
It's really really good. It's really good.
You know what? We were actually talking about that beforehand because we were thinking like, okay, what was it that we were saying that Michael Bay knows how to shoot a better trailer than
he
a
knows
movie?
how to make a trailer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Ambulance.
Yeah.
That trailer was actually really good.
That trailer was
so
dope.
good.
Yeah.
And then like halfway through, like we were like, oh dude, that was the movie. Like,
yeah.
like Michael Bay should stick to shorts because I feel like he would make dope shorts.
Yeah.
And they should be like an episodic short on YouTube or something like that. Michael Bay would kill that. A 2.5 hour movie, he gets bored. Like I really do feel that Michael Bay does a movie and then like goes like action. Oh, we gotta talk now.
Explosion, dialogue.
It's funny.
Let me know when I can blow things up. And then all of a sudden he goes like, "There's a car, boom, baby."
That's the kind of stuff that you guys are talking about though.
Yeah,
on the
it's
podcast.
funny. It's funny you bring that up because I don't remember but in one of our last 2 episodes that we recorded this week, we talked about Michael Bay and how it's basically a little bit of dialogue with a bunch of explosions.
Yeah.
And how he was, I think he was either caught recycling his footage from films.
Yes.
Or somebody got
That
caught
makes sense.
No, it's
using his.
It's a
No,
pig.
his.
no,
He recycles his own, right?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was The Island. So in the island, they have like a specific scene where he's like, where like the car crash in Transformers.
Yeah, that's the one. I
Oh,
was
that's
talking
right.
About,
Now
yeah.
I remember.
In the island, that's where that shot is from. So they're doing everything else, and then what Michael Bay did is he was like, "Oh, I need a couple extra shots inside of Transformers." So what he did is he just put it in and then CGI'd a Transformer falling on top of the car. That was it. And and he just made it look so that way it looked exactly like the car that hits the other car. Yeah. So he just literally, you could put them side by side and you're like, that's exactly the same thing, but with a Transformer in it.
Either Michael Bay is the weirdest person or just a big genius.
That's actually genius because you know how much money that probably saves?
A lot.
Yeah.
No. He still had a CGI. He still had a CGI Transformer.
Yeah, but
in it.
having to reshoot that entire scene.
It's true.
Yeah, it's you got to consider the fact that explosions cost millions of dollars.
And
on
CGIing a Transformer costs millions of dollars.
On screen probably looks tacky, but financially is smart.
What is it?
You know what? For some reason,
Fiscal.
when you guys were talking about that, it just reminded me. You know that skit from Key and Peele where
Which
it
one?
shows the one where the nerdy guy is shooting a music video and it's showing the money he has and it's going down every time you see like the progression of the video. Like he uses a horse and he uses. Yeah, I want someone to do a video of that on YouTube and just like
Michael Bay.
of just movies in general and just kind of like have the dollar signs keep going up and up and up as the movie's progressing.
To go like $10 billion.
Yeah, $10
Yeah,
billion.
that's stuff you don't say
Yeah.
on the podcast, so we can do that video. That's big money right there.
Trademarked.
It's ours. You already here, guys.
By the time you're listening to this episode, it will be trademarked and known.
Yeah, that's true.
No, it costs mine to trademark.
So we buy it so we can sell it.
I'm not going to spend that. Anyway.
So back to our real addiction. So you guys talk about movies and production, pretty much how everything is leading up to it. But you guys, because that's the thing is that when we talk about movies and TV shows, we talk about like the things that we see in comic books and video games.
Mm-hmm.
So for us, it was like the Marvel movies, the DCEU. But you guys actually go more in depth to movies like Knives Out.
Yeah.
And Scream, is it 4 or 5?
Five.
This is technically Scream 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
I still haven't seen it. Is it good?
It's really. I
enjoyed
saw
it.
it. It was
Yeah, I've
really
heard it's a good
lot.
homage to like slasher films and it's done like right. And thank God I haven't seen who the killer is. Because
yeah.
I've heard it's like
surprised.
a complete left turn.
Are we going to go on a date?
Should we go watch it?
I'm down for a date.
I have to rewatch all the Scream movies though.
Why?
You could just watch the first one.
Do I have to?
To watch 5?
Yeah.
Yes, you could just watch
Yeah.
the first one.
Boyfriend did it. Mom, the boyfriend did it. What was it?
Her stepbrother or her
Step-
half brother.
Half brother did it.
Niece did
Niece
it.
did
Niece
it.
did it.
I don't
That's
know.
it.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, you just have to watch the first
That's.
one.
I mean, that's.
And maybe
I mean,
maybe the fourth one,
Maybe.
but it's because like
I did forget that it was her stepbrother in the third one. That's
Yeah,
that,
it's
that's
her
dumb.
half-brother.
there's like certain
Yeah.
characters. There's like one or few characters from the last fourth one that they bring into the new
Yeah.
one,
Okay.
but it's not
Yeah.
relevant.
Yeah.
Plot armor for like 4 of them all the way up until 5.
There you go. But yeah, so you guys talk about Scream 5.
Yeah, we did. We have an episode up if you guys have seen Scream 5 and you guys just want to hear us talk about it. By all means, check it out on Apple Podcast or Spotify.
So before I give you guys the last question, or before I give you the last question, because I would have given this last question to Miguel as well, letting you guys know everything, all their socials, all the information on where to find Our Real Addiction to go support them, give them a shout out, share their links and everything will be in the description below, or if you guys are listening to it on audio platform, it'll be in the description somewhere. You'll see like their link tree and everything. So
there will also be a link tree on our website. So that way you guys can also follow there. So if you want, you can go straight to our website. You can go ahead and click all over their stuff.
it'll be on the Nerdy Planet. So pretty much all of that advertisement space will be for them because the Nerdy Planet is getting a revamp. We're actually going to be writing articles now on there. Yeah, I know.
What?
It is finally getting used, guys, which is great. So you guys are also going to be writing articles.
Yes, we will.
So
We definitely
it's I want to say it's not going to be more review based because by the time everyone or you guys have seen it or we've seen stuff, reviews have already been out.
It's more of a retrospective.
Basically, I mean, I did that with How I Met Your Father, where it was like why you guys should watch it.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's a good. It's a good article you did.
It's a good article you did, but the show is terrible.
It's good. It's
Did you watch it?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, you actually? Oh, you haven't watched it. I
It's
haven't
not
watched it yet.
bad. It's just like not for everyone. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay. I want the 8 episodes. That's all I'm asking. Okay.
Is it only 8 episodes?
It's 8 episodes, and then they might do a season 2. And I want a season 2 because if they literally end it with like not realizing what's going on, I'm gonna be like, what the hell was this show? Why?
Really quick, I've noticed how much we've evolved from TV shows now, where it's like, because I started to watch rewatching Smallville, and each season is like 20 episodes.
Now it's like 8 to 12.
It's like, basically now moving forward when it comes to shows like that capacity, it's like you said, 8 to 12 episodes.
Keep in mind that Brooklyn Nine-Nine was a show that went into like the 15, 18 episode thing, but then COVID happened. So the last 2 years, most shows have usually ended up only running 8 episodes because of time constraints
But
and
that
stuff.
that also started happening when more European shows started coming to the States.
That's also true.
Because when European shows started coming to the States, they're only somewhere near 8 to 12 episodes, and that's a lot more palatable because they're about like an hour and a half. And then once that happens, people started going like, oh, these are really good shows, but they're nice and small, so they're really digestible. And because they're like just, it's a couple movies and that's it. And that's when people started picking up on like, oh, we can just extend the length and shorter. I mean, because when you think about it, I mean, Sherlock is what?
Oh, that's like three episodes, but each episode is like an hour and a half.
I think it's like 3, 4, 5, something like that.
Yeah.
But each one's like an hour and a half.
It's a movie.
Wow.
So let me ask you this, Adam, because we are going to be talking about the Book of Boba Fett as well, and that's going to be the meaty chunk of this podcast because, my God. What is, from your side, from your perspective, what is the overall goal for Our Real Addiction? Like, what do you guys hope to accomplish by, going under the Nerds Network brand and you guys, like, let's say within the next year, right?
Oh, man.
What do you want to see from Our Real Addiction?
I mean, realistically, just to continue to put out great content. I think that's really what it is because, if the content isn't good, there's no point in really trying to achieve much.
And do you enjoy making content?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's the most important thing. That's honestly the most important thing because, we say this a lot. We wouldn't be here if we don't enjoy doing what we do. And it is a Friday night.
Yeah.
Could have been doing a lot of other stuff, but we're here recording and we enjoy each other's company.
Yeah, 100%. Because this is when it's most important. It's like during the times when you can do anything else. And
how committed are you?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And that was what I asked you guys before we, agreed to this because this was almost like a 2-month long process for us.
Yeah.
We started when the conversation started happening.
It was 2 months ago, and it was like
on your guys' end.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it was a transition of like
he had come to us first and mentioned it. When I say I was skeptical, and I was like, I don't know if we should do that yet. And then he convinced. Renee was like, I'm down.
I did my business pitch, which actually worked for once.
You did your no. I literally told you give me an elevator pitch, and you did. And I was like, all right, cool. I get it. Yeah, I'm down.
I did it, guys. I finally did one successfully.
Yeah.
And it happened to you guys, to be you guys. So,
We are very much appreciative of it.
I honestly,
your guys' content and like consistency just all rode on my elevator pitch at this point.
Yeah. I hadn't met the duo. I don't know. I hadn't met them.
Yeah,
so that's
true.
why I was like, I don't know.
Maybe we should have been here last time.
I was on vacation.
Oh, I love this. I love this. See, now it's not just Nick challenging me. It's Adam challenging Nick.
He's only here for an episode, so it's fine.
He's here consistently. You
No,
shut
he's
your
not.
mouth.
He's only here.
You shut your mouth.
He goes back to where he came.
We're currently in contract negotiations. Have
Back
me
to
replace
audio you go.
So,
This is where you're just like rubbing your head. You're just like, is this what it's gonna be like for the rest of the day, man? Come on, dude.
It's okay.
Question, in terms of like, okay, you answered pretty much. What is it that you see Our Real Addiction doing within the next year? What do you expect from us? Now that we've partnered up, like keeping up with the nerds and Our Real Addiction, going hand in hand within the next couple of like months.
in all honesty, as long as I get my corner office, we are good.
Corner office with the window. That's
Yeah.
Nick's HR office.
Yes.
Sorry, Nick.
That's your office.
Right there, the restroom.
No, I was going to say, I mean,
Oh.
you could go into the restroom, but I was going to give you the closet. But, I mean, if you really want to go to the restroom, you can do that too.
But overall, we're really excited to have you guys on. I think at first it was more along the lines of like, great, we get more helping hands, and that's something we were excited about. But seeing how much you guys are willing to be consistent with the content that you guys are doing, the amount of work that you guys are going to be putting out there, everything, it's getting us excited to see what more we can do.
Yeah,
Right.
100%.
Yeah, because we were stuck in our own little bubble, and it was a great bubble to be in. But it's always great to kind of expand more, and I feel like we're doing it right, not too quickly, just at the right pace.
I feel like it was also it's a gamble. We're making like
You want to call them a gamble?
No.
Rolling the dice.
We are. I mean, we are. But I mean, what I'm saying. No, that's not what I'm saying. Though. What I'm saying is.
Go ahead, Nick. Go ahead. Let's see you fumble this spilled
We can
spaghetti.
say that it's a gamble joining your brand.
Oh, first off, I
Wow.
can fix this. Hang on. So. Yeah, I got nothing.
Yeah.
Good job, Nick.
Mhm.
I mean, foot in mouth, but that's fine.
You know what was a really good gamble that worked in their favor?
What?
Favreau giving Dallas Bryce
That was
Howard.
not.
God,
that was
that's
not a good one.
no.
No, because it wasn't a gamble. Because she'd already succeeded in
That's
like
true.
2 Mando episodes. That is not a
That's
gamble.
what I was mentioning, is that it was a gamble
So the
to
Book
give
of
it to
Boba
her
Fett guys was
in the
really
first
good.
Mando season.
You mean
new
an
episode.
actress who's been working in the industry for almost 15 years?
Wasn't that her
Gwen
directorial
Stacy.
debut?
It was a directorial debut,
Yeah.
but she's also worked with multiple directors.
But she has.
Yeah, but it doesn't guarantee her directing skills.
Thank you.
But she,
No, because you can be a good music producer, but you can't be a good singer.
if I've noticed anything from actors who have worked with amazing directors, they pick up a lot of things. Just like Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck has worked with a slew of directors. He's worked with some of the greats and some of the worst. In a lot of different projects.
Adam, kick his ass.
But
Do it.
do you mind? Thank you. Anyway, but Ben Affleck did what Ben Affleck did. I expected Bryce Dallas Howard to do. It wasn't just I'm going to gamble on Bryce Dallas Howard. It is she has a vision. She has a whatever we gave her was there, and also she is a fan of the series. There wasn't anybody that they were gambling on. This was a calculated, I guess, risk, but also
No, I wouldn't even say it's a risk.
I wouldn't even say it was a risk
No.
because they knew what was going to be coming out of her.
No, it was more like you said earlier, where it was like kind of just building hype again.
Yeah, like
where-
honestly, if you didn't know that was Bryce Dallas Howard's episode, you would have been amazed. You would have just been like, "Wow, that's a really great
Oh,
episode."
I didn't know it was
Ju-
Bryce Dallas Howard until the end.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Yeah.
because honestly, they don't really like. It doesn't really say like this is Bryce Dallas Howard's episode. Like
Yeah.
they didn't really mark it that Bryce Dallas Howard or any of the
That's
other
true.
directors.
So
were
can I just say
directing.
that we immediately jumped into Bryce Dallas Howard and not mention the fact that we're talking about the Book of Boba Fett, guys? That's what we're talking about.
Because you went Bryce Dallas Howard.
Well, because I tried doing a little segment, you're just like, no. You just
'Cause
shut
you
me
go
down completely.
Star Wars, baby. All right, now go.
Thank you for that. So, we are talking about Bryce Dallas Howard because we were all left amazed by the fact that this last episode was probably you said it.
Yes,
You're
well-
like it got certified fresh.
It got certified fresh for having it's funny that the
having
series got a certified fresh after an episode of not having the main character in it.
So, okay, is that a good thing?
So
For saying okay, so if this is the best episode of the series, that's sad.
no, hold on. Here was my thing. I felt like the story that we were trying to tell with Boba Fett was done for now. We are at a tipping point where now we have gotten to the only thing left is the battle with the Pikes. That's that's the only thing that's really going to be coming at the next part. Now it's Boba Fett trying to rally his troops. And I'm assuming that Boba Fett's going to get more troops that you're going to be getting off screen. But the main thing is that at this point, we need to know more about Mando. Because
How does he get from point A to point B?
How do we get Mando to get from here to here? This is the most important thing. And I'm almost positive the next episode is Dave Filoni's. Because it's going to have to do with the Jedi. They have to explain this. The only person that could really teach Boba Fett, Mando, is either Luke Skywalker, Ahsoka Tano, or Sabine Wren. There's like 4 or 5 people that can probably teach him what to do.
So
and
here's
3 of them he doesn't know.
So for context, right? If you guys have not seen this episode of the Book of Boba Fett, which was episode 5.
This is episode 5.
Episode 5. There's going to be massive spoilers, so go ahead, pause the podcast here, go watch up to episode 5, then come back because this episode is a doozy. It is the best. I would say the best episode of Mando and the Book of Boba Fett ever.
Did you do your homework?
Why?
I told you to do homework.
What was my homework?
Star Wars Rebels Season 3, Episode 15.
No, I did not. I will say this, though. That episode by itself makes me want to watch the Clone Wars
I showed it to
and
them.
Rebels.
I showed it to Renee and Mandy while we were waiting.
Okay, well, I wasn't here because I was stuck at work. Nick.
That's not where I was going with that.
This is a sass-filled episode. We got Adam versus Nick. Nick versus Brian. Renee versus his Batarang spitter.
We're gonna play Monopoly after this.
Oh, God. That'll be the end of Keeping Up with the Nerds. That's like the tipping point.
No, we gotta play Risk.
We only
after
lasted
this.
83 issues, guys.
we definitely gotta play Risk after this. But anyway, that's besides the point. But that's besides the point. What I'm saying is that is such a great episode because I feel like literally Filoni went, I've already done this episode. Mm-hmm. All we have to do is get the major points from Trials of the Darksaber and take them and put them inside of the Mandalorian.
But do you think the next episode is going to be another Mando episode?
It has to be.
I think so too.
Because the thing is that I feel that Mando is going to be his heavy. That's going to be his heavy gun. And if you go from this episode to the next episode and we don't have Mando, and especially when he just said, I'm down to help you, but I have to go see a friend first. Then the next episode is the Pikes episode where you start battling the Pikes. Mando shows up and he's just like wielding the Darksaber like it's no one's business. You're like, how? What happened? Why? What's going on?
But the thing is that my problem with that is that you're doing that in a Boba Fett show. But you're taking like 2 episodes away from Boba Fett.
But
so I like this because you guys, are you on that boat with me where the next episode is not a Mando episode?
Yeah.
Okay, so we got 2 people, which is great. 2 people who are saying the next episode's a Mando episode.
I'm saying it's a Boba Fett episode.
It's a Boba Fett episode, and this issue is coming out the same day as the Mando episode, or the Boba Fett episode. Yeah. Excuse me. So one of us is going to be right.
Yeah.
One of those 2 is going to be right.
We already know who. My record shows I'm usually right.
I'm with Nick on this. Yeah. You don't want us teaming up.
You're putting it all on one color. Now all of a sudden, let's see if you're right, man.
No. Okay, but here's the thing though, is that he's going to be the heavy. He has to be. He has the dark.
Well, yes.
Not only that, but also that's the reason why it's called the Book of Boba Fett.
But you're assuming that the next episode is going to be pretty much like that or actually you're assuming that Mando is using the Darksaber.
The reason why I'm saying that this is why it's going to happen is because they're doing this like the Clone Wars. If you've ever seen the Clone Wars, literally what the Clone Wars would do constantly was they would have 2 episodes of like something that's going on in one part of the galaxy, then cut to something else for another 2 episodes, and then cut back to what's going on a different, going back on this like little tiny other world. Like they'll finish off this storyline, and they'll continuously keep on doing it. And the thing is that the Book of Boba Fett is not its own. It's a spinoff, but it is another part of the Mandalorian saga.
Oh no, that 100% is true. Yeah. That 100% I can agree with.
Because they're going over not just Boba Fett, they're going over Mandalore history. They're using this as an extended version of like, and then Mando did this. So it's an interesting idea. I believe that we've gone as far as you can go with Boba Fett's story, without having to. Because what are they going to do for the next
3 episodes?
2 episodes. It's only 2 episodes left.
I think it's a good chance we don't see Boba till the last episode.
Because why I want to see Boba kicking butt. I want to see Boba with his forces. I want to see him doing it. Because otherwise, it's literally just him going planet to planet trying to buy people and trying to buy reinforcements. That's not an interesting episode. I would much rather go see Mando go to whatever planet that Luke Skywalker is on, or whatever planet what was it, Ahsoka Tano was on, or Sabine Wren, or any of these like people that can teach him how to use the saber, and him come to terms. I would much rather see that than watch Boba Fett try and like collect his army.
Renee, you ready to jump on this bantha with me? You ready?
Go ahead.
Let's do it. Is it a bantha? That's what it's called, right?
I guess.
Bantha.
Bantha.
Bantha. There
Like
you
a
go.
bantha.
Bantha. There you go.
You don't even know the word. God, a banthra? What's a banthra?
Are you done?
No.
Don't be a gatekeeper. Okay?
Thank
No.
you. Yeah.
Just saying.
Sorry, Nick. Your people are out there. All right.
My people are everywhere.
This is the way.
So, we both agree that this next episode is not going to be a Mando episode, right?
I think, not a Mando-centric episode. I
Okay.
think.
Well, why is it that? Why that?
Because again, because with 2 episodes left, I feel like you need to tell more of Boba Fett, you know? But I feel like it's going to be like an equal kind of thing where it's like maybe because I thought we were going to get Boba Fett in this episode, like, you know, he was going to meet up with him halfway in and stuff, but this one was straight up just Mando. And again, great episode, but I feel like, did it really need to be in Book of Boba Fett? Couldn't it have been like a separate thing, like either like a special or something, or, you know, we get like, oh yeah, instead, you know, like Jon Favreau would have been like, hey guys, instead of Book of Boba Fett this week, there's a surprise in Mandalorian, go check it out, and then boom, it's the return of the Mandalorian in the Mandalorian series and stuff like that.
So hang on. You're not on this bantha right now, okay? This is our all right ride. So you shut your mouth.
5 minutes ago, you didn't even know what that was.
Oh God, my God. Adam, control this guy, please. Control him, please.
Adam's gonna control me.
Yeah, he's basically gonna keep you in check.
I am chaos incarnate. What are you
Yes.
talking about?
So the reason I'm saying that this, you know, and I'm agreeing with you 100% that it's not going to be a Mando-centric episode, is because it doesn't make any sense to make Mando be able to use the Darksaber after 1 episode. That is an entire season's worth of content right there.
Which is why I think it will be most likely 2 episodes.
So why not this, okay? Why not have 1 episode, right, where he's trying to figure out how to use the Darksaber here and there, but not being taught by a Jedi, okay? I would say maybe the last 2 episodes are the fight. We have the big fight in the 2nd episode, and then the final fight, basically boss Boba Fett versus major boss, whoever he's going to end up fighting in the last episode, that's going to be there, and Mando's trying to use the Darksaber but still realizes he can't. So what he does and kind of kickstarts the 3rd season of The Mandalorian is him looking for someone to train him to use the Darksaber, in the process going out there to go see Grogu. Because you still have that. This episode served as a detachment point for the Mandalorian. Basically, this entire episode was him kind of like going through his like entire journey, you know, realizing he's still connected to the Mandalore, and then all of a sudden, when they ask him, "Hey, did you remove your helmet?" and he says yes, he's now banished from.
I know, but
Mandalore
so are
culture.
you saying that Mando's gonna kind of do his own thing, and then they're gonna have the Pike War in next season?
No,
of Boba
he's
Fett?
there, but it's not focused on him. We still have to build up certain things from the Pike War that's going to happen. It's just going to be this episode, and the last 2 episodes is the fight
He's gonna go see Grogu
in
not-
his show, not now, because
But he
him
but he
going
are-
to see Grogu is going to have him meet someone that
But
will
in-
train him to use the
I know,
Darksaber.
but in Boba Fett, he literally says, "I'm down to help you. I just have to go meet a little friend."
That's
At the
thing.
very end
That's
of
the
his
thing.
episode.
That's why
What-
I don't like that ending, because it makes this conversation where it's like, well,
He has to. Go, he's leaving.
it's either he has to, or it could be like, well, then they're just gonna go to Boba Fett, and then just like boom, Mando comes, and then that's where it's either
So
one.
what about a
That's the
time
thing.
lapse?
What? How do you have a time lapse when there's a
He's
war
gone. They focus on Boba Fett stuff, and then right before the war happens, he comes back.
See, and this is how Game of Thrones started getting into crazy stuff.
Yeah, it's a
But
thing.
that Renee's right in that sense where they kind of like wrote themselves in another hole, because it's look, it's not to say that we don't want to see more Mando. It's just kind of weird to, and I get it, because both of you guys are right in your own ways. It's cool to see Mando in the Book of Boba Fett because it feels like Boba Fett's story has kind of wrapped up, and it is a side story, so it's not like we need to really focus more on him. But when you have a show titled The Book of Boba Fett, you expect to see more Boba Fett. It's good to have The Mandalorian be in 1 episode, but to have 2 centric episodes about The Mandalorian, that's a little too much.
But it's not about the Mandalorian. It's about the Mandalorians. They're explaining a bigger world of. It isn't necessarily. Oh yeah, it's about Mando. It's about Boba Fett. It's about their creed. It's about the bigger thing that is the Mandalorians.
Okay.
And that's, I'm assuming, and that's kind of what the book we're in. This is it, because if Star Wars is the Book of the Wills, we're in the Book of the Mandalorians.
Okay.
And that is why we have the Book of Boba Fett, because it's a chapter like the Bible, where it's another chapter inside of this book. Kind of like the Book of Mark, the Book of John, everything else. Now, in these books, you also have side stories of them telling stories of what happened to other people. Now then, for this, they're telling more stories and more in-depth things of what is going on in Mandalorian Creed, what's going on in Mandalorian standings. So now you automatically know Mando is no longer he's no longer a member of the Watch. I am no longer a member of the Watch. I have already desecrated my creed. They kicked me out. In order for me to do this, I would have to go to Mandalore and bathe inside of the waters in the mines of Mandalore. Cool. I now know what I need to do in season 3. That's season 3. I need to go talk to Grogu. The reason why I need to go talk to Grogu is so I can understand the Darksaber. I'm not saying he's going to learn it, but I'm saying he needs to understand what it takes to become automatically attached to the Darksaber.
Okay, that's a better explanation, because if you're basically saying, I think that's where both you and I were a little bit skeptical, because it does take a really long time to train to use a lightsaber. And I will say this, one of the best details I've seen in a Star Wars show is when he's fighting in that meat locker place, right?
Yes.
And he burns himself with a lightsaber, because that's... Okay.
You don't see that often.
No. And okay. My bothers. All of a sudden, I'm getting irritated. Here's what happens. It doesn't make any sense when Finn picks up the lightsaber and he's struggling to fight Kylo Ren, but somehow he still blocks all his moves. This was genius, because all of a sudden, the Mando's using the lightsaber in such a great way, and then bam, he burns himself.
Well,
Good detail.
yeah.
And this is why I told you to do homework. Inside of Trials of the Darksaber, inside of Rebels, Filoni actually went over this, saying that a lightsaber like Anakin's, a lightsaber from the New Republic compared to a lightsaber from the Old Republic. He even says, this is an, Kanan Jarrus says, this is an older blade. This blade is an older kyber crystal. It's made of a different material. It's made of a lot of different things. The kyber crystal is taking your emotions, your energy, everything else, and it's taking it into it. So if some things are bothering you, if there is something that's weighing down on your heart, it's going to make the blade that much heavier.
Which is great, and that's
In order
why
for
I
you to
want to
have
see this.
Yeah, and that's
now
and
I
that's
want to see. Yeah,
and that's a main thing for Sabine Wren, who's learning how to use the blade in that moment, because she needs to come to terms with what it means for her to be a Mandalorian and what it means for her to be inside of her own people. And once she starts becoming connected and those things start dropping away from her, and she has more solidified, the blade becomes light for her, and she's able to wield it because she is now connected to the blade. That is what needs to be explained to Mando.
okay.
And I feel like the armor does not understand that's what it is, or else she would have told him, because she just says, you're fighting against the blade. That's it. She doesn't understand what it means to be a Jedi. She doesn't understand what kyber crystals are. She doesn't understand what a lightsaber really is. She just thinks they're wizard weapons. And it's one of those things of you need to talk to a Jedi, or you need to talk to somebody who has already wielded the Darksaber to truly understand how to wield it.
Okay.
And that's why I feel like you either need Luke, you would need... Honestly, who would be really cool is Ezra Bridger.
Yeah.
Because Ezra Bridger is somebody who hasn't shown up. You know Thrawn is back.
You've seen all of Rebels and Clone Wars?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's great. Awesome.
You know Thrawn is back with Ahsoka Tano.
Yeah.
So it could be that Thrawn comes back with Ezra, and they both kind of break off from whatever part of the outer rim that they were in, and Ezra Bridger now understands, because he was there when Kanan was teaching Sabine Wren about the Darksaber. He would be able to teach Mando, and not only that, Ahsoka Tano, she's dealt with the Darksaber before. Luke would understand it because he's been trying to collect Jedi artifacts.
It would be weird to have Luke be the one. I'm going to ask you some questions because you wanted to interject for a bit, but I will say last comment before Adam jumps in.
You're good.
It would be weird to have Luke be the one who trains or even mention the Darksaber, because it doesn't fit his character according to what the Last Jedi and what is it, the Rise of, not the Rise of Skywalker, The Rise of Skywalker, is it? Whatever the last movie was.
I know.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
It's just kind of weird to like have him be the one that's like looking for Jedi artifacts and being involved in anything that
But that's young Luke.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
young Luke.
That's young Luke.
plus-
In young Luke.
You're right. Yeah.
Young Luke immediately after the fall of the Empire immediately started going, I'm going to collect as many Jedi artifacts and find out as much about the Jedi Order as possible. He was all about trying to reform the Jedi Order. He was trying to find out as much as he can about the Force, both sides of it. Even a big part of
Not
Battlefront.
only that, we don't know what timeline this is on because Star Wars has been rumored to introduce new timelines. Because the Mandalorian is apparently to erase the sequel trilogy, and they're doing their own thing.
So would that
That's-
work? Would that work for the Mandalorian
I don't-
timeline to just kind of say like, yeah, the sequel trilogy never worked?
Here's my thing, though. I feel that they would never do that. And the reason being is because even though that they're bad movies, you can technically say the same thing with the prequels. You can technically say we can make it that the prequels never happened with this. And in Rebels, they did introduce multiple timelines. They introduced time travel. They introduced a bunch of different stuff inside of Rebels.
Which is why that's the possibility. The thing with the prequels is they're saved by the Clone Wars. The Clone Wars gives a lot of context to the things that the prequels couldn't do because it was a strain to those 2 hours.
Exactly.
That's why you talk about like the different timelines. You say okay, like you say the reason to watch Clone Wars is if you want Revenge of the Sith to hit like 10 times harder. You watch those 7 seasons is worth Revenge of the Sith being that much more emotional than it already is.
It is. Yeah, Clone Wars alone is amazing. You can skip the Jar Jar episodes, but
The Bombad Jedi? Why?
no. Just in no. Like the Jar Jar episodes with Mace Windu and stuff like that.
Oh my gosh.
Like those are pretty bad.
Yeah.
Like those are pretty bad. But the thing is that Clone Wars does enough to Star Wars and to Revenge of the Sith, just so that way when that moment when Anakin turns, you really understand why. You understand that him not being a part of the Jedi Council, it's kind of like the last straw. Like there's been so many other things throughout the Clone Wars where you were like, I get it. Like,
Wait, does he get denied the Jedi Council in the Clone Wars?
No, he
In
gets
the-
it in
I've never
Revenge of the
In
Sith.
the
Oh,
Revenge
you've
of
never
the
seen
Sith-
it?
Well,
Well, the
Why don't
rank
we
of
watch it?
master.
Huh?
No,
Why don't we
he-
watch it together?
Clone Wars?
Yeah.
No,
No?
Well, no,
It's
it's
worth it.
Yeah, it's worth it. So no, remember, inside of Revenge of the Sith, he gets a seat on the council, but he gets rejected the slot of master.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
which that's never happened before in all of the years of the Jedi Council. That's never happened, and that's why he's really offended. And Palpatine's already kind of manipulating him, where it's like, oh, this is like you should be a master. But the thing is that you see in Clone Wars, Palpatine manipulating him.
Mm-hmm.
You see Palpatine on his side. You see Palpatine giving him information. You see Tarkin, being a loyal soldier to Anakin Skywalker, where it's like, yeah, obviously Anakin would trust Tarkin.
Not only that, you see how powerful actually Anakin is, and you see really that rise and the fall.
Exactly.
You know, and that-
because very beginning of it, you see him as the Jedi that we all know Anakin Skywalker to be. We see him as the top Jedi of the Clone Wars. And it just goes up, and then throughout the series, you get these little moments of him doing some dark stuff. Like there's an episode where a Jedi dies, and Anakin is ready to murder. Like he even goes in and he starts force choking. He starts like smashing his head into a wall, and they have to pull. And Mace Windu has to pull him off and go like, "Whoa, what are you doing? You can't be doing that." And he goes, "This scum deserves it." And you can see him starting to cross that.
Well, we
line.
see that in Attack of the Clones when he goes after the Tusken Raiders that bought off his mom.
Exactly.
And that's like the first time you probably see it. And the good thing with like Clone Wars is every time he does something like that, the Darth Vader theme starts to get, the Imperial March starts to get louder.
Yeah, the dun
And you-
dun
and you
dun
kinda-
dun 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 dun.
You kind of know, okay, we're getting close to the fall. We're
So-
getting close to the
Yeah, so
corruption.
you're seeing his corruption. Very much in D&D terms, you're seeing corruption points just hit. over and over again. He's about to tip over.
So
he's about to go over.
to kind of move this conversation back to the Book of Boba Fett, because we
Right.
can continue on this
Yeah.
conversation
Well,
over and
the-
over about
the
this.
The interesting thing going back to the Book of Boba Fett is that that's also the first time where you actually get to see the Vizslas. You see the Darksaber. You see the effect it has on Mandalore, and how exactly what was it like Duchess Satine. It's an entire story arc of Duchess Satine in charge of Mandalore, like that. Okay, remember how they were saying like, what was it? They were part of a powerful house. Then it fell. It was because of Darth Maul. It was because of the Darksaber. It was because of the Watch. All these characters have been introduced inside of Clone Wars, and they've been playing their parts over the years. And this is where it all lands. Of the Darksaber, Satine, all these other things. Not only that, but also Obi-Wan Kenobi almost left the Jedi Order for Duchess Satine, who is a Mandalorian. And he even says, "I know exactly how you feel. I almost left the Jedi Order for you." It's an entire huge thing that Darth Maul murders his girlfriend just so that way he can, see Obi-Wan Kenobi just go like, I
So
murdered her.
what I wanted to say was it, like, pretty much this conversation has opened my eyes to what this episode has done for the show.
Yeah.
Because this episode is massively packed with details.
Exactly.
It's so great. You've played the Fallen Order, right?
No.
You haven't played the Fallen Order.
Great
but did
game.
you notice it's
Great
such a
game.
great video game. It's probably one of the video games I don't know, is it on PlayStation 5?
It
Yeah,
is.
it is.
It is, yeah. I'd say
BD?
play it. It's so. The fact that they included that little droid in there, right? This episode was a jam-packed tribute to every level of StarArs fan in existence, because it
Video
included
game,
tributes
anime.
to
Video game, comic book.
comic
game.
books, Clone Wars, Rebels,
Prequels.
Legends, everything.
Yeah.
What I enjoyed so much about this episode, yes, the beginning sequence scene was fantastic. When we got to see Mando walk in and just, I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold.
I actually do like the fact that it failed this time. That he
Yeah.
actually struggled, because the first time he had such a cool little But I love the idea of him failing because he doesn't know his place in the galaxy now because he had a mission.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
purpose.
mission's over.
Yeah.
And the great thing about that is when he goes back to the armor and I forget his name.
Which one's Paz Vizsla?
Paz Vizsla, right? When he goes back into it, he's trying to find his purpose. Now he hands over the Beskar spear and says, like, because they tell him, like, there's so much lore building here
Yeah.
that they're either introducing or reintroducing for the first time, where they say, like, Beskar should never be made into weapons. It should be used as armor. And so they melt it. What does he want to do with it? He makes Grogu a piece of armor. I think it's chainmail.
It is.
It is.
It's a chainmail.
Okay.
It's
like a little-
like mithril.
Dude,
It's gonna be like a
cannot-
mithril.
Look, man,
like,
I am not a
chainmail.
fan of Grogu. I'm not. I would punt that little
My
sucker across
gosh.
the space.
What?
Yeah, do you know how much money I've spent on Grogu stuff for
That's
my
a-
fiance?
That's a different thing.
Okay,
That's
all right.
an
We have a
entirely
shelf
That's a
dedicated
personal issue.
with
Yeah,
Grogu.
that's a
And
personal
it's
issue.
What do you mean
worth
so? No,
It's okay. It's
so
okay.
much, dude. It's like, why? Why?
Hold on.
He
that's-
saved Star Wars.
Yes.
He saved Star Wars.
He did.
He saved
actually.
Star Wars.
No.
Wait, a
hold
little
on.
stupid cookie and
hold
his
on.
little stupid little silver ball.
In all fairness, Dave Filoni saved Star Wars.
True.
Dave
True.
Filoni
No,
saved
yeah,
Star
100%.
Wars.
And
Grogu.
but here's where I felt Filoni's kind of failed in in season 2 of The Mandalorian, and he's gonna fail in Boba, and it's not enough interest in the main character, because we saw this in Mandalorian season 2. We knew Ahsoka was involved, we knew Luke was involved, and I'm gonna be honest, at like episode 2, I was like, all right, where are they?
Okay.
That's
But
So
that's,
you
but
saying-
that's
hang on,
different though,
hang on.
because that was leaked. Ahsoka Tano was leaked. Luke actually wasn't leaked, which is surprising, because you didn't know that. You had a feeling Luke was going to be there, but you didn't.
Luke was the cherry on top.
Luke was the cherry on top. but you
That's
didn't
what
know it was
made the
coming.
most sense, but felt very unrealistic.
Well, originally, it was Plo Koon.
Yeah.
In the script, they wrote Plo Koon.
All right, Star Wars nerds. Why do you say, Renee, that Filoni's failure?
No, because just
'Cause-
from watching the series of Boba Fett, I was kind of like just watching it just the sake for watching it before the Return of the Mandalorian. I was watching it because it's a Star Wars show. It's connected to the Mandalorian.
Right.
I have to watch it, obviously, but it wasn't grabbing me. It wasn't like
Yeah.
it was. I didn't feel the hype or the I gotta watch the next one like I did in Mandalorian. Each episode was it. This was a slow burn episodes before, like 4 episodes, and I still was like, I'm keeping up because we talk about it on the podcast.
You're this far in.
I'm this far in, might as well. And I think even we talked about it when like the first 2 episodes came out, when we were like, the first 2 episodes felt like a full arc.
Yeah.
And it felt completed.
Yeah.
But after watching the first episode, after that first one, I was like, I'm nothing.
Right. It did kind of drag.
Yeah.
But there's still interesting things within these episodes.
Yeah.
They were slow paced, but it was dragging on just a bit too much.
That's the thing.
It was very minor progression, and I
Yeah.
understand that aspect because, like, I was, as someone that enjoys having Boba Fett and was excited to see him return in The Mandalorian, it was cool to have that kind of like arc and chapter be about Boba Fett.
Yeah.
But I understand how it doesn't sell someone, or it doesn't sell for someone.
Because I really enjoyed it because of that, but that's also because I'm a huge Star Wars
That's
fan.
the
I will
thi-
literally
yeah.
watch anything that has like Star Wars in the front of it.
And I'm just a casual fan of Star Wars. I don't even claim myself as a actual fanboy, but I love Star Wars. I love The Mandalorian and stuff like that. And I talk about it with customers too, and then like they said, we kind of talked about it, and it's like, it's just not grabbing. It's like it's good, but it's not how we felt after an episode of Mandalorian, where it's like, oh, that's pretty cool. That was actually pretty cool and stuff.
And I think the reasoning for that is because the Book of Boba wasn't for the casual fan.
Yeah.
This is for those who have stuck around demanding Boba. Because
Exactly.
the return of Boba has been demanded for years.
Not only that, but also I feel that Boba Fett is he is very much a cooler character like the Joker. He looks really cool. He's awesome when he doesn't really have a backstory, and he's shaded in a lot of mystery.
Okay.
He is a lot cooler than his actual character really is. He is a bounty hunter. Yes, he is technically a son of Jango Fett, which he's a clone. He went around, hunting down. Technically, he is the man who kills Cad Bane inside of the Clone Wars. There's a lot of different stuff.
But you know what? That's why people like The Mandalorian, because they did that with Mandalorian
Exactly,
in the first season.
But the
where-
thing is that you have expectations and you have things that you can't do with Boba Fett because he is Boba Fett. Whereas with Mandalorian, where he's a new character, he is a blank slate. I can do whatever it is I want to do. So it's kind of one of those things of, okay, so where exactly does Boba Fett go? Does he just become a bounty hunter again, or does he try to put down roots somewhere, and does he actually try to become a daimyo? And I think him becoming a daimyo and having control over an area is going to lead down a path, because the only thing that makes more sense is that the Pikes are involved with Crimson Dawn.
So what's funny that you say that is this, because I'm going to jump on both of your guys' points here. Do you guys remember a couple years back when Disney said we're getting all of the extended universe stuff and we're making it Legends, right? There was a massive uproar by the fans saying like all these books and all these different comic book series that we all enjoyed over the last few years are just not going to matter anymore because it just doesn't fit into your guys' universe. They were pissed off, right? Fans just did not like that. What's
But
great about this
Were
is,
they ever canon to begin with?
in a way, yes, and in a way, no. They were canon to an extent, but certain books and comics kind of like interfered with one another. But what's great about this, right, is that casual fans, because that's the thing, is I never really read into the EU. I couldn't. It was impossible to keep up with everything that was going on,
same
right?
here,
Favreau and Filoni took advantage of that and said, great, now that everything is put into a Legends aspect, we're going to restart everything and kind of take advantage of this clean plate that we have and reset everything and give the fans something to sit on foundation-wise. Because what's so great about this episode, right? So you're right. The Book of Boba Fett is a show for the hardcore fans that want to see Boba Fett progress, right? But this episode is for people like Renee and people like me who didn't read into the EU as much, but now have that kind of detail to sit on and say, cool, this is canon now. This is going to exist. This is what's going on. And the great thing about, Bryce Dallas Howard, Filoni, and Favreau is that this episode didn't make anyone feel stupid. Because you're sitting through that entire episode listening to all the key details and all the lore building that was handled in conversation and understanding and feeling a part of that. You've never watched the Clone Wars. I've never seen the Clone Wars, but I know enough because of conversations that I've had with people. But now this episode, instead of making me feel like I missed out, it's like, cool, I want to go revisit this now. And I can guarantee you that the next 3 episodes, the one that comes out, Wednesday, and the next 2, they're not going to be episodes where it's like, oh, well, if you didn't watch Rebels, sucks to suck, but, I guess we're just going to have to, you're going to have to go rewatch it.
Well,
Which is why it's going to be Mandalorian focused.
Exactly, and the reason being is because not only that, but also like Paz Vizsla.
Mm-hmm.
Paz Vizsla is because they didn't really confirm how he's related to the other Vizsla from Clone
Mars
Wars.
Vizsla?
Yeah, Mars Vizsla from Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
They don't really explain how exactly, which is also a Jon Favreau character inside of Clone Wars, which is funny, but in which Jon Favreau also plays this character. But Maz Vizsla is the leader of Death Watch, which also is the watch that Mando is a part of, that rescues him at the end. And that's kind of interesting.
Well, she's not. Bo-Katan isn't at that point. Isn't a part of the watch.
No, the watch. She leaves the watch right before the Battle of Mandalore.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing.
Yeah, the whole
whole
killing her sister. Yeah.
Yeah, the whole murdering of her sister. Yeah.
So we do have to wrap up this podcast pretty soon. I know we're only like amongst us here. We're only hitting an hour mark, but I do have to insert the little interview with Miguel as well.
Right.
So let's move away from like our anticipations of what we're going to be thinking the Book of Boba Fett will lead into.
Right.
Let's focus on this episode of the Boba Fett, because there shouldn't. We usually wait until the show ends to talk about it and discuss it, but this episode was massive. It was huge. It was. I think it left us all jaw dropped. I was like fascinated by it too, just amazed by it, because this episode was directed by, if you guys didn't hear us at the beginning, Bryce Dallas Howard, who directed 2 episodes beforehand in The Mandalorian Season 1 and Season 2, right? And it was a surprise. I think it was you who mentioned at the beginning, we wouldn't have known who would have directed this until the credits rolled. And it was a surprise. What I love so much about this is that Favreau and Filoni entrusted her to be in charge of this episode. I've told you this. I would have loved to have been the fly on the wall to be at that meeting where Favreau would have sat down Bryce Dallas Howard and been like, you know what? Out of all the pool of directors that we've had for The Mandalorian, I want you to handle this.
Well,
So great.
But the thing is that Bryce Dallas Howard did a really amazing job, especially since the last episode that she did was the Bo-Katan episode. She did the Bo-Katan episode, and she did a really great job of being able to marry Clone Wars, Mandalorian, what was it? Rebels, all these different types of, stories, blend them in and really make them flesh. Like, she made it so that way it was all really vibrant. You could feel like you're a part of the entire story, and she didn't make you feel really dumb trying to catch up. She was able to give you all of this information very easily and go, here's this giant book, like a manual of understanding
Sparks notes it.
Yeah, and I'm gonna spark notes Mandalorians and Mandalore for you.
She has an eye and an ear for respect, because what I love so much about this episode, the intro got me immediately. The intro, straight Western.
Yeah.
Literally, if you could replace the entire scenery with just like the backdrop of a saloon, it still works.
Yeah.
Him going through the plastic thing and then just going in there, the gun holster right here, the fight sequences of everything, it fit so well. And that, I feel, was like a tribute to Jon Favreau's idea of The Mandalorian being a Western, right? Then everything else, and you're 100% right, the marrying of like the Clone Wars and everything being brought into here and not making you feel stupid, giving you the Sparks Note versions of all the details there, even pushing past that, the conversation with the armor, right? It's great to see the little Easter eggs. Like, what is it, the N1 Starfighter?
Yeah.
From episode 1?
Yeah.
The one that Anakin drives. It's so badass. And what I love so much about it is that they try to modernize all these different starships and speeders and stuff. Like the motorcycles, how they're all like neon colored and stuff to try to make it fit. It's so great that when they finished it up, it literally looked like a chopper, like a lowrider with the freaking engine in the front. It's so great to see that detail being modernized now.
Not only that, but also it was the very first time that you're told what happened in the Night of 1,000 Tears.
Yeah.
Because in in Rebels, in the books, they don't tell you what happened. The Mandalorians talk about the Night of 1,000 Tears. They keep on mentioning, well, this hasn't been the same since the Night of 1,000 Tears. And then they all just kind of go like, I understand what that means. And it's been like this thing where everybody's kind of going, what the hell happened in Night of 1,000 Tears? What did the Empire do?
I told you guys that scene, the stills when they came. that's on my PC.
Yeah, I know,
the stills.
but them turning. It's so interesting to go. Oh yeah, them turning Mandalore basically into a wasteland.
Did you see in that still where you have the droids kind of like pushing through the flames? That one, like the close ones.
The K2SOs.
Yeah.
So in the foreground, there's helmets of the Mandalore
Yes.
all over the place. It's so great. I didn't
Yeah,
notice that until I put that. I blew that up. I'm like, whoa.
Well, the other thing
dark.
is that because I was telling Renee beforehand, in Rebels they actually, because Sabine even says the reason why Mandalore is subjected right now is because of me. Sabine helps make Mandalorian weapons that are anti-Mandalore, basically turning Beskar armor into its weakest offense. You can actually melt people from inside of their armor, and it heats it up, and then it doesn't affect stormtroopers. It's insane. She did a lot of different weapons that entrapped Mandalorians, so that way the Empire could rule over them, and they would be afraid, and they wouldn't be able to succeed. For that, it looked really interesting because when you have all of these K2 units, you have this entire bombing raid of a planet. Could you imagine having an entire bombing raid just circling the planet and just dropping bombs all the way across?
It's never visualized, it's always talked about, and it's great to see a visualization
It
of
was
it.
so cool to watch.
And Dallas Howard's, Bryce Dallas Howard's visualization it was really tragic for a TV series.
She went. You
She
remember
went dark.
She went. You remember Terminator?
Yeah.
That.
Yeah. No, honestly, yeah, and
No,
it's
that's
great.
how it was, yeah.
Okay, so let's go ahead and wrap this
Yeah.
up. I want to go ahead and go around the table and let's talk about our favorite scenes or details from this episode, and what we hope to see within the last 3 episodes of the Book of Boba Fett. And do you want to take over, Nick, first, and then we'll go Renee after?
Sure. Yeah. I'm interested to see Mando's growth. I really am interested to see how exactly he's become more conflicted in his world. The reason he's wondering whether or not giving Grogu away was the right thing to do. He's wondering about his place in Mandalore. He's worried of whether or not he's still a Mandalorian. He's worried about, what exactly is my place in this world after my mission is done. And there's a lot of different conflicts where he doesn't really know what to do with himself. And it's interesting even to see his growth with droids, where he is no longer really hatred of droids or afraid of droids, just by him talking to BD and kind of going like, good job, thank you. Like you've
How
actually
could you be
helped me
mad
out.
at that little fella, dude? Little
Yeah.
buddy.
In all fairness, I actually wouldn't be surprised if in the next season BD joins him,
Okay.
another
It
droid
makes
were to
sense.
join
A
him.
lot of people are like wanting that.
No,
yeah.
play Fallen Order. Play Fallen
Well,
Order.
Yeah.
Play
the-
Fallen
the-
Order.
Yes.
Order.
Here's the reason why I thought that BD would join him is because in the next season, if Grogu doesn't join him, he needs someone to talk to in his ship.
Yeah.
He needs someone to maintain things, and he needs someone to.
There's
have
also a
dialogue
hint when
with.
he asked, like, what about the astromech and the N1 starfighter?
Exactly.
So it makes sense.
Yeah, and so all these like little tiny things, because Grogu is no longer a member of the crew. He's no longer.
Yeah, get that little buddy out of there.
Well, I don't
His
agree with
face.
that because he's a moneymaker.
Well,
So
that-
he's gonna have to be involved.
No, here's the thing though. I don't. Here, you can make money with that without.
Disney.
Okay,
No. You want
No.
to know why? Because if he's not in season 3 as like at least half of what he did in season 2, there's gonna be bad reviews.
No, there's not. Because
Not
if
bad
you- not-
reviews, but the money drops.
No,
Yes,
but-
just a little
yes.
bit.
No, you don't, because you get another thing that's adorable that you can make toys out of.
What,
But
BD?
BD
Okay,
is
I want
not
a BD. That's
Grogu.
it. Hey,
Huh?
I'm putting it right now. I'm putting it
BD
right
's
now.
not Grogu.
I'm putting it right now. If BD becomes a central character in season 3 and Disney starts selling BD astromechs or droids, not
Over,
astromechs,
you
but
mean
droids,
over at
Okay.
Disneyland?
over at
I
Disneyland,
think-
I will get one and mount him on my shoulder and walk around. I will be a full blown Jedi.
Because that's the only thing I can think of is essentially we need to replace the adorable thing that he's with
With the BD unit.
with the
Let's do it.
BD unit, and not only that, but also because he needs to go to Mandalore. Eventually, he's going to be going
Yeah.
to Mandalore. Eventually, he's going to be going with Bo-Katan, and eventually, he has to go deal with the fact that he is the new heir to Mandalore. That's going to be a thing that you're going to have to deal with in season 3.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why it's awesome that they're trying to do him controlling the Darksaber now. Because
Okay.
now, because when you get into season 3, that means that of the 8 episodes I have to then use 2 to 3 episodes to then understand the Darksaber, then go to Mandalore, then do all these other. I'm wasting episodes where I can then plop it right here, and then it would then make sense
Okay.
of that.
Fair.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how exactly it continues. I loved the entire episode. I love Jon Favreau, and Bryce Dallas Howard did an awesome job on this one. She put a lot of stuff in there where like, yes, this is awesome. I mean, the only thing that I kind of had an argument with was that the Darksaber looked different than inside of Clone Wars and Rebels, but that's a small fact
Renee,
because it's more silver.
Huh?
Renee,
What?
your favorite moments?
Oh, I liked.
I will hurt you.
I'm trying, but you haven't done anything yet. So. My favorite part is I liked how what's her name, the shop lady, she was selling Mando on that starfighter. Just like the way, just because it was just funny to me. I love her as an actress, and I love how basically she was trying to sell Mando on that this is the new ship you can use.
Yeah.
And the whole process of like building it and stuff. They made it look really cool because I didn't care about that. The way those ships looked in
weird.
Phantom Menace. Yeah, because I was like,
Did you pay attention to the detail that they were talking about? How they can't go into hyperspace without the rings? Because I've totally forgot about that
That's
detail.
the thing, yeah.
And it's like, oh no, we put that in there, and it's like loaded up with a bunch of other stuff, so you can like travel faster than anything.
Well, yeah, because it was meant to. They were meant to fly with the Queen as she was flying to like places.
Yeah,
So
but no,
it
you
needed to go
literally
into hyperspace.
chop shop that entire N1 starfighter.
And then it was really cool to see him like make it all chrome like, and stuff.
Did you notice in Beggar's Canyon that the one little detail that they had? The ramp that Anakin uses to get over Saboba.
That's right.
The-
it was the
the
entire. It was the run, right?
Yeah.
It was the pod racing run.
They use the pod racing run, but if you look while they're going through it, the ramp that they have, Anakin broke it in episode 1. It's still broken.
That is
Oh my
the
God, I didn't catch
details.
that.
My God,
It's still broken.
But it was a feel good moment, right? To see that again.
that whole
You
run.
know,
like him going through the actual Beggar's
I was
Canyon
hoping
run.
that they would have said like, now this is like something close to like this is pod racing
Not
or
only,
something.
they do the next best thing because inside of episode 1, after when they see the actual pod racer, Anakin's best friend says that's Wizard.
Yeah.
That's why Bando at the very end of it, she goes, "How was the ride?" And he goes, "It was Wizard." 'Cause
That's sick.
It's supposed to be his connection to episode 1.
So I really liked the episode. Yeah, it was really good. And
I apologize.
I
really enjoyed this episode. I'm sorry.
No, this is yeah, that's why.
I thoroughly liked it. Again, I think what I want from the season, what I want from the rest of the season is just get me on with Boba Fett. Still, I'm not on with Boba Fett yet, but it needs to get me excited. At least for season 2.
So what makes it a good sell for you? Like, do you need to buy like some merchandise off of Boba Fett, or do you just need to be like, okay, this was badass?
I want to be invested. Like, I want to be invested. If anything, if this season ends with like Boba Fett into like something that he needs to deal with in the next coming season, I'll be like, oh, okay, get me excited for season 2.
So I was looking at the director's list. I forgot how I mentioned in the group chat, but I said that Filoni was supposed to direct an episode, and the last episode, I have a strong feeling because it was supposed to. Oh, Filoni's supposed to direct this next one.
Yes.
Yes, he's supposed to direct the next one.
And then did we say that Favreau is supposed to do one? Or no?
Favreau needs to direct one. As someone
Probably
who's
gonna be the
written-
last one.
Yeah,
It has to
that's
be.
the thing because
Yeah.
he wrote this entire thing. So yes, if you're a writer, direct your baby. Come on, like you're not gonna like
at
not.
least direct the conclusion.
Yeah, put
Yeah.
the mic back away. But there you go. Thank you. You're done.
No, that's the thing. Just get me
Unplug his
excited
mic.
for season 2. I think if anything, just get me excited for season 2.
Yeah.
And I feel okay. Look.
That's
okay.
if there's a season 2.
That's the thing.
No,
yeah.
there won't be. I think this is a
Yeah.
limited
Yeah.
run, especially with the chapter. No, Mike still stays there.
The end of the series will be him partnering up with the Crimson Dawn, and then them going to Mandalore. Because the Crimson Dawn were originally built by Maul after he took over Mandalore.
So is season 3 of Mandalorian, is that the final season, or is that
No.
Are they
No,
keep
they got like
continuing?
5 or like they
Yeah,
got like
they-
5 to
Because
7 seasons.
that's
planned.
going to be interesting because so far, obviously season 1 was, how are we going to get Grogu to where he needs to go? And then now at the end of
season 1 and 2.
yeah,
did
and then
that.
but season 2 was like, okay, but we're also going to handle the Darksaber as well too in the coming of season 3.
That was a subplot. It was very much a subplot leading into 3 because I feel like it's going to be the rule of the. I feel like 3 is going to be the Darksaber, where the Darksaber now becomes the main plot.
Where it's him trying to get not control, but learn how to yield it, or is it? Are we going back to Mandalore in season 3?
No, I feel like season 3 is going to be him coming to terms with who he is.
Okay, and then season 4.
Season 4 is him
We go to
going
Mandalore?
to Mandalore
Okay.
to then not necessarily lead people, but to then prove himself as a member of the Mandalorians, and also to define his own creed.
Listen, this is Favreau telling the Disney execs, like, listen, Kennedy's been there way too comfortable sitting in her high chair thinking that she can run Star Wars. So let me give you 5 seasons of The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett, and let the fans talk. Let them vote me into the seat, and he'll probably take the seat alongside Filoni.
But the thing is that if you go by that, I mean, Mando season 2 already had a Snoke reference.
Yeah.
It already has Snoke reference.
It's fine. This is his resume for that.
They're not going to redo.
They're not, but I'm just telling you that
gonna
Favreau's gonna kick Kathleen Kennedy out of her chair, and we're gonna get John Favreau Filoni.
I don't think so. I
don't
think
think so.
Oh my God!
I
You
think-
guys, let me have this, please. Okay, let's just.
No, because when you're in Kathleen Kennedy's chair, you're not in the chair of creating Star Wars.
She just.
Filoni and Favreau love creating the story of Star Wars.
I prefer Kathleen Kennedy as a facilitator of somebody of what do you need and
Can
how
we
much
just
do I
stop
need to pay
having
for
her
it?
credited, please?
No.
Just stop. Don't
Stop
mention her.
Yeah, just don't. Like, please.
Yeah.
It's-
She is the
doesn't-
worst.
I
She's
don't
the worst.
want her face anywhere in the project. No. I want Favreau and Filoni and Rodriguez and Bryce Dallas Howard.
But that's the thing.
Even
though, is-
Taika Waititi in the background with that
Taika
one
and
episode.
And Danny Trejo.
Danny Trejo as a Grand Corps trainer. Before we get off topic,
You know for a fact in the last episode, Boba Fett is going to be
God.
riding a Rancor.
he's here. I didn't even realize that Mandy has
yeah.
Grogu. I'm going to talk about
You know he's gonna be
my
riding
favorite.
a
I'm going to talk about my favorite scenes now, and my favorite moments of the Book of Boba Fett episode 5.
A Boba Fett riding a Rancor.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to start off by saying this. My favorite line, okay, out of this entire episode. No, you stop. Is can we stop so I can get a?
You're
You're the one that needs to just keep
It
talking.
is when the armor is talking to the Mando, and she says, "The armor." That's what I said.
The armor was talking to the armor
The ar-
actually talks
the
to her?
armor.
The Beskar is talking to the Mando.
That'd be
And
interesting.
she says, Mandalore have existed or have run an empire or whatever.
The
right, or
Empire
existed.
lasted for 30 years, and Mandalorians have lasted for over 10,000.
I love that line.
It's a good one.
It
It's
was.
such a great line. And I get it. Like, look, I'm not a big fan of the Empire, but I really can't stand people that just preach the Empire lore and feel like it's like the supreme thing and everything. And for me, it's a small little personal victory. Like, I get it. Like what you like.
Yeah.
But I've had people in my life who won't shut up about the
It's
Empire.
okay to be
Yeah,
wrong.
honestly, it was very short. It was very short-lived, if you really think about it.
It
Right?
is, and that's
Yeah.
You know what? I
It's
just
30,
I
it's
love
30,
that line.
It's 30 years of chaos,
Thirty-
but in all honesty, not that bad. Even the New
In a
Republic,
span in a place that spans millions and millions of light years and
Yeah,
stuff, like you
like-
only lasted 30 years.
Yeah.
it's not that bad.
It,
The only
I
reason
mean-
it's so big is because they got the chosen one.
Yeah, I mean, also a Death Star, but I mean, but that's
Yeah.
besides the point.
you could
A
say the
planet
Empire.
killer, you know.
The Empire was as fragile as Stormtrooper armor, so that's a thing to look forward to.
It is pretty fragile.
It's a
It is.
fragile
It's
empire.
cheap
Definitely.
too.
Armor.
Mass production of that, of trying to keep. I mean, they had to cut corners.
Yeah, exactly. But I will say, going back into that more
well,
finer detail.
well,
What?
Well, because it's interesting. Because there's a thing in Rebels where there's a lot of Mandalorians that join the Empire, and you can just shoot them because the Empire went cheap on their armor and they weren't pure Beskar. So there's like certain spots inside of their chest plates and on their armor where it's the plating of the.
So what you're saying is that
Stormtrooper
there's
armor.
more details to the Empire being cheap as all hell and not giving proper
Oh,
armor
yeah,
to its
dude.
soldiers. That's good. Thank you. Hey,
A lot of
hey.
Mandalorians died because they got cheap armor, dude. They're not Mando just going. Actual plot armor.
I will say that this episode is I am a man of detail. I enjoy just having a surplus of detail and attention to everything, and Bryce Dallas Howard just delivered Favreau's written vision into reality. Everything felt like it fit. From Mando burning his leg with a darksaber because he doesn't know how to wield it, to the lore that was explained between Mando and the armor, to the N1 starfighter making an appearance, to the BD unit, to like every detail felt like it was an ode to everyone that has loved Star Wars. And here's the thing. Bryce Dallas Howard has shown that she's not just a fan directing a Star Wars show. She's a fan listening to the fans, delivering a TV show or episodes that she's directing to fans that understand what Star Wars is to them. she's basically Favreauing and Filoing this entire thing.
She's being a very good student.
She is, and it shows. And God bless her, man. Honestly, like I said this on Twitter. They can't let her go. She could do so much better in terms of producing and directing some other stuff. By all means, go for it. But for now, just stay with Star Wars for a bit and keep doing this, because when the end credits rolled and I saw Bryce Dallas Howard's name, you can tell my fiance, she was laughing her ass off when I just screamed, "Bryce Dallas Howard! Oh my God!" I was just freaking screaming, dude. It was so great.
I think that these 3 episodes have been her resume.
Yes.
But no, for a Star Wars movie.
Oh
Yeah,
God!
at least one.
Can we get
And-
Rogue Squadron?
Honestly,
Oh,
I would.
I
be
know we didn't get what's her face's name.
Yeah,
No,
Patty
'cause she-
Jenkins.
Patty
Patty
Jenkins.
Patty
It's fine.
Jenkins dropped
Can we-
out.
Yeah.
I know. Can we get?
In which, in all fairness, I think Bryce Dallas Howard would do a better job than Patty
Please.
Jenkins.
I agree.
That might be the smarter route. They're probably working on that. That's why.
And
And
cheaper.
but that's what I'm saying. I feel like this is her resume.
Yeah,
I feel like
100%.
they're giving her these
Day one.
smaller, these like small, like
Day one.
20, 30-minute episodes, and then her going like, okay, I can stay within budget. I can do everything else.
Could you
I have all the
imagine?
lore that I have.
Yeah.
I can do all of this correctly.
Could you
And them going,
imagine?
okay, cool. You did every single episode that you've done has been highly ranked, highly
Yeah.
this.
Could you imagine Bryce Dallas Howard if she would have directed a Rogue One movie? Like if we would have taken the Night of a Thousand Tears scene and we would have had that
In-
for Rogue One
In
the
all
entire way
fairness,
through.
I would love a thing that's just called Star Wars: The Night of a Thousand Tears.
Directed by Bryce Dallas Howard.
Like
Yeah.
even if it was like an animated short or animated movie, I would love
No,
that.
that'd have to be that'd be a 2-hour movie.
Yeah,
Adam,
that's
let's go
why.
ahead and wrap
100%.
this issue up with your favorite takes of this
Yeah.
episode.
Obviously the attention to detail is really, really well. I think they had to give us an episode that had obviously Mando in it to get the casual fans involved, which isn't a bad thing. But I think Boba's gonna definitely have his moment, because he had his moment in season 2 of The Mandalorian. His first scene in of action where he has the
The
that
gaffy
staff,
stick?
yeah,
The
the
gaffy
staff,
stick?
yeah, the
Yeah.
gaffy stick, and just completely just like swings at the stormtrooper. I think we're
Yeah.
gonna see that in those final episodes. See, this is what it's leading to.
Oh,
These are
that'd
what
be
these
interesting.
episodes have
Yeah.
been leading to. But what was your question again?
What was your favorite scene?
Favorite scenes, right. I can
favorite,
talk for
like,
hours.
Parts.
The BD droid for sure. Especially if you played the game, you know why? Because the BD droid is
He's your homie.
he's
He's your
awesome.
best friend.
And like I think it just makes sense for Mando to have that droid. It like because I can't see him with an R2 unit or a BB unit or even like an R4.
He needs something small.
Yeah,
He needs a Sun.
yeah.
He needs a
something
Sun
compact.
2.0.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's compact. It's perfect for trying to like go into like a lair and like
Yeah.
just like shooting through things with a lightsaber. Have BD just doing stuff. Also, I just really want him to yell at BD while he's getting shot at, just going like,
Yeah.
"BD, hurry!"
yeah, yeah.
I think it's a good place to wrap up this issue.
Definitely.
So thank you, Adam, for joining us here,
Thank
and
you
thank
for
you,
having
Miguel,
me.
for joining us in the small little interview that was inserted at the beginning of the podcast. Big announcement, like I said, guys, is that Our Real Addiction is joining the Nerds Network, and we're so glad to have him here. Adam, Miguel, thank you guys for joining us, and hopefully we can bring more content to everyone who has been supporting us so far. I'm excited. We're all excited to have you guys on here. So thank you.
Definitely are. We're
Thank
excited
you.
to help build the brand.
With
Exactly,
that
yeah.
said, you guys can go ahead and find us on our website at keepingupwiththenerd.com. All the information will be on there on where you guys can find our YouTube channel and all our audio podcasts as well. Our link trees are available on Instagram and Twitter as well. Go follow us at Keeping Up with the Nerds. Find all of our Real Addiction information on the Nerdy Planet page of keepingupwiththenerd.com. You guys will have all the links on the description as well in wherever you guys are listening to this, in the description or in the YouTube description as well. Follow their Instagram as well. Our Real Addiction.
At Our Real Addiction on Instagram and at Our Real Pod on Twitter.
There you go. So follow them, and we'll help you guys set up a link tree so you guys have all the details
Sweet.
on there as well. So you guys
Thank
can
you.
find them on there as well. Get everything organized. Am I missing anything?
Oh, hit that like and subscribe button.
Thank
so that
you.
way you can also know when videos are coming up, and you can get more information as they come up.
If you're on YouTube.
Yes, if you are on YouTube.
Guys,
if you're
thank
on
you.
your phone, go into your settings and hit your YouTube settings.
There you go. Guys, thank you so much for joining us on this issue. Big thing for us. We've been hard at work. We're here till like midnight, basically,
Yep.
working on stuff, and we're excited to bring you guys more content. So with that said, Adam, are you ready to wrap this up?
I am.
It's this last thing right over here,
This
okay?
last one. All right.
All right, let's go ahead. Hit it, Adam.
All right. This has been Keeping Up with the Nerds, issue 83. My name is Adam.
This is Brian.
Renee.
And Nick.
Recording at Undercity Comics in Whittier, California. We thank everyone for listening to this issue and hope to see you all next time.